Hey, this is Will with AE Gaming, and we're going to have a little discussion here. I got Giancarlo here, my boy Chesco, and we're going to talk about Masters and Fusion World and get this discussion going since it's been a big hot topic lately.
It's been crazy. So, for anyone familiar, it's the Dragon Ball Super card game, and now there are basically two branching paths. There is what we would know as the traditional game is going to be called Masters, and then the new kind of reboot is going to be called Fusion World. So that's what we're referring to when we say Fusion World or Masters. It's technically both of the Dragon Ball Super card game, but it really is like an adjustment because I'm just used to saying DBS. Like I know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, but it's like an adjustment because now it could be two different things rather than just one.
So a couple of changes that I've noticed. I've been on I'm a retailer. We're here at AE Portal or Eternity's Portal here in Bainbridge, Georgia, and we deal with Dragon Ball, we deal One Piece, most of the Bandai games. And one of the biggest changes that I noticed when I went to the site to lock up our coverage on the game Masters on the original site.
Yeah.
It's come up. So yeah, it's official. It's Masters and Fusion World. I had to educate some of the guys at the actual distribution center about it because they didn't
Yeah.
really know about it. Um, so it's the creatives are saying that it's you're gonna have Masters that's gonna be carried and you're gonna have Fusion World that's going to be carried, correct?
Yeah, so from what I understand, both games are going to exist at the same time. They're going to coexist and they're going to support each other, which I think is a good idea. Obviously, Masters has a lot of fans that still play and have always played. So I'm glad that they're not just saying, okay, forget the old stuff. We're just going to start over. I'm actually happy that they're saying, well, we're going to have two different games. One for like, both games are for everybody, but one is going to be catered toward like growing a player base for like newer players. And then Masters is going to be like, I think for like us who have been playing the game for so long and we just want to keep playing it because we love the game.
That sounds good. That sounds good. There's a lot of stuff on the chat,
Oh,
both ways about
yeah.
this on the discussion groups and on chats and stuff. People worried about Masters, of course. I mean, that's our baby. That's something
Yeah.
that we all came in. Uh, s- how do you feel about the structure? The How do you feel about the state of both games currently?
Okay. Well, it's no secret that Masters has been struggling. Will, as a local store owner, and this is my locals, like you said, AE Portal in Bainbridge, Georgia. This is the locals I've been coming to since I moved to Florida for about 3 years now. We've seen ups and downs, and it's no secret that Masters has been in a state of decline for quite some time now. Whether it's local, like our shop, or it's a regional, it has, we've seen our regional numbers shrink basically like all across the country. The same, it's not a secret. We have been struggling, and now I think this is Bandai's solution. And I mean, I'm all for it in all honesty. Like, if in order to keep Masters alive, because Bandai could have just said, okay, you know what, we're going to cancel this game completely and we're just going to move on. But what Bandai is trying to do, at least from what I understand, is that they're opening a new road or a new path for people to pursue. And like I said, they intend for both games to coexist and support each other. So if we get another 3 years, 4 years of Masters off of the back of Fusion World's success, I have no complaints. Now, I'm also very excited about Fusion World. I've been playing Dragon Ball Masters since day one. I mean, we went to the set one pre-release back in 2017, and I love Blue Vegeta. That's what we all played. It.
Blue
Almost
Vegeta, baby.
almost everybody played Blue Vegeta in set one. You had a couple here, there, and the others, but most people played Blue Vegeta in set one. I've loved the game since the day I started playing it. Obviously, some days more than others because there have been some very frustrating formats, but I've always
Yeah.
always have loved the Dragon Ball card game. I've always been very involved. I, spend a lot of time, whether that's, I used to make a lot of YouTube videos. Now, not so much, but uh, like I said, if this is the avenue that keeps Masters alive for however longer we have it alive, I really can't complain because I would rather Bandai say, hey, we're going to have Fusion Worlds as well, then just say we're canceling Masters completely and we're going to go on to something else. We're going to go on to continue to focus on Digimon and One Piece and Battle Spirits and whatever. now we have this avenue where we get to still play the game. And in all honesty, being a player from set one all the way back then, Fusion World feels a lot like set one and set two. So it still feels like I'm playing Dragon Ball. It just feels like I'm playing a different version of the Dragon Ball Super card game.
All right. So we, me and Chesco here, this the main reason we were here on this discussion today is to discuss Fusion World and Masters debate on the longevity, possibilities, and the main thing that I wanted to cover with you is you got a couple of sample cards,
I
don't you?
do, yeah. So I was at Gen Con and the demo decks were given out. Now, obviously, they're just demo decks, so it's not going to be maybe it's not going to really be a full scope of what the game is going to look like. But from what I've played with the demo decks, from what we have a few videos. If you check out Three Swords Productions, we do have a few videos of me and Matt Sublet just kind of playing the decks and kind of seeing how the game feels. Like I said, it still very much feels like you're playing Dragon Ball Super, just a different, really just a different version. You know what I mean?
Let's get the glare out of that one.
Yeah.
So the cards look similar to One Piece.
They do. Yeah. Yeah. I think if you look at other, because there's four Bandai games now, right?
Mhm.
Digimon, One Piece, and Battle Spirits all have very similar printings. Dragon Ball is very Masters. Dragon Ball is very unique in the way the cards are printed, and I think it's probably a lot more expensive or a lot more difficult to keep printing cards that way. So I feel like Fusion World is gonna kind of go along the same lines as the One Piece and the Digimon.
This card looks familiar, guys.
Yeah, all of the art is that was actually the biggest barrier to entry when I first picked up the fusion decks. Where well, this card, I know a lot of card game players. We just look at the card by the picture. You know what I mean? Like if I've been playing a Dragon Ball card for 3 years, like let's say Sensubin. I mean, we've been playing Sensubin for five. I think
God bless ever.
2017 is 5 years ago, right? So we've been playing Sensubin for 5 years. I don't need to read the card anymore. I can just look at the picture and say, well, that's Sensubin. Um, so kind of similar, some of the arts are the same. So for example, this is the set one super combo Piccolo from set one, and it does something different in this game. So when I look at that in my mind, I'm like, oh well, this is no, it's something completely different. And that was funny because when I first picked up the demo deck, I kept doing that. I look at a card in my hand, I'd be like, wait, no, that doesn't do that. It does something else.
What's the deal with the energy markers?
Oh yeah, an energy marker is so again, if you've been playing Dragon Ball, it's no secret. Going first is a lot better than going second. So the energy marker is something the player who goes second gets one energy marker at the start of the game. It is a non-specified energy. So it's not blue, it's not red, it's non-specified. And then once you use it, it goes away forever. And that makes going second in this game extremely powerful and more balanced. Because in our current Dragon Ball game, going first is actually like way stronger because you get more energy and like Dragon Ball is a very fast-paced game, so you have more initiative. Whereas going second now, you get to attack on the first turn, you get to draw a card because you went second, and you get an extra non-specified energy, and that energy can be used to play back-to-back 3 drops, back-to-back 5 drops. I think one of the best plays we've determined in the demo deck is playing back-to-back 5 drops. So on turn 4, you use your energy marker to play a 5 drop, and then you follow that up again with a 5 drop on the next turn. And that was, just again in our just demo deck testing, that ended up being one of the best plays you could make. So I'm actually really excited I'm very excited about that because like, losing a dice roll is very detrimental. If you have two competent players with two good decks, that dice roll is just so pivotal sometimes that it can get a little frustrating because you're winning and losing based off the roll of the dice. Now it's a little more balanced with the energy marker to say, okay, now second player gets a bonus or a benefit. Going first is still very powerful. The game is still very fast paced. So basically what it says is it says the first player doesn't just get all the initiative in the world. Second player now has initiative as well.
So more possibilities, so it could be a little bit better rounded.
A little bit more balance, basically. Yeah, going first and second. Every card game I think has struggled to balance that in some way. I mean, Magic obviously is the oldest example where going first, you get that mana first. You get more mana than your opponent every turn, but they get to draw an extra card. Yu-Gi-Oh actually changed it to where going first in the same regard, Going first, you don't draw a card just like Magic. Yu-Gi-Oh actually changed it. It used to be both players drew on the first turn. Now it's not. One Piece has decided that neither player gets to attack going first, which again is just another way to balance going first versus second. And I think in One Piece, I mean, One Piece is a great example of balancing the system because there are like in Dragon Ball, no matter what, it's better to go first. Whereas in One Piece, there are tons of decks that prefer going second. There are tons of decks that prefer going first. So One Piece has provided a very good example of how to balance first versus second. I don't know anything about Digimon, so I can't say for that. But in terms of balancing first and second, I think this was a really good addition to the game, the energy marker.
Digimon had a good balance system too, but I agree with you on One Piece. You really got to decide whether or not you want to go first or second,
Yeah.
because, depending on the deck you play, because
Right,
of the how the deck progresses and how it moves in the end.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm actually going to playtest this, and we'll get some footage on the playtest and maybe commentate on it later on. Um, but I'm looking forward to giving Fusion World a shot, and also looking forward to seeing what they do with Masters. Also, um, other than that, guys, have a great day. Like us, subscribe, check out Chesco's channel.
Three Sword Productions.
Three Sword Productions. Check out our channel, AE Portal. We have a lot more content going on, and I got my buddy here putting up content on our side too. Like I said, Eternity's Portal Gaming and Apparel, Bainbridge, Georgia. Like us, subscribe, check us up on Facebook, Twitter, all the other social media platforms.
All the above.
All the above. Take care, guys. Good night.
Peace.